The Simmons College Band celebrating the huge news announced for West Louisville late today. One of the biggest economic development projects for West Louisville in over 20 years is coming. It's a new snack manufacturer going to be setting up their factory in the Park Hill neighborhood, looking to bring in more than $100 million and many jobs to this area of town. And hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us tonight at 5. Doug Profit, good to be here with you today. It is called Stellar Snacks. It is from Carson City, Nevada, expanding eastward. They're going to be baking pretzels here, founded by a mother and daughter team who say Louisville already feels like home.
Journey ahead is a phenomenal one. It has been paved by good signs, which me and my mom believe profoundly in. Delice's logo was the fleur-de-lis. It feels like every street here in Louisville is telling us, welcome to your new home.
You gotta love that. Well, right now, WHS11's Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Jessica Farley are in the Park Hill area. They covered that announcement. And Alex, what can you tell us about the land where this pretzel bakery is going to open?
Right, Doug. We are here at what's called the Hydra Warehouse. It's right next to a train track, and the owners, mother and daughter Gina and Elizabeth, told us today that it's perfect for their business because they get shipments right off of the train tracks right into this warehouse to cut out the middleman. And we are here right here at the site, which is right off of Dixie Highway. Governor Andy Beshear also spoke today, and he calls this a huge announcement, the biggest jobs announcement West Louisville has seen in decades. He calls it not just big, but historic. People and families of West Louisville will have hiring priority, so that means over 350 families being impacted. Governor Beshear says this announcement just continues the emphasis on West Louisville development and opportunities.
This company, Stellar Snacks, is coming to West Louisville because this is where they wanted to be. They see a great workforce here. They see real opportunity. We are providing incentives, and the company is incentivized to hire more individuals from these neighborhoods to truly make sure that we get the full impact of 350 new jobs in West Louisville.
Louisville Metro Councilman Philip Baker also spoke today, and he says the people of West Louisville have shined through good times and bad times, and this opportunity represents a new day for the community with hundreds of jobs paying $30.20 an hour. Stellar Snacks started back in 2019, and the owners who we heard from today hope that the business will be up and running by this time next year. Live in West Louisville, Alex Dieterer, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Well, the owners tell us that they plan to have a first open house for hiring opportunities coming up this December. Today, Charlestown, Indiana, breaking ground on a new water reclamation facility. Water reclamation is essentially converting dirty wastewater into water that can be used for other purposes like farming or industrial uses. A majority of the project was funded through grants and special funding, and the city says the new facility is badly needed.
Oh, it means so much. This project was absolutely critical and required. We needed to expand our capacity for all of the residential, commercial, retail, and industrial growth that we're experiencing. And the one thing we didn't want to have to do is put the burden of that on our ratepayers.
Mayor Treva Hodges says the new investment means Charlestown residents can sleep well knowing their infrastructure is improving without increasing their water rates. Happening today, city leaders are calling it a national model. And today we got the chance to step inside of the new wellness center, which will be specifically for Louisville Metro police officers. It's called The Summit. In its scathing report not long ago on LMPD, the U.S. Department of Justice also supported investments in mental health and wellness for police officers, and the mayor agreed to the new investment. Alexis Jones and photojournalist Philip Merle have more on what the officers will see.
It's their job to serve and protect. But now officials say it's time to do the same for those in uniform, starting with opening the doors of LMPD's new wellness center Tuesday. The summit is located on President's Boulevard and has been in the works since March. Its goal to help preserve 5 pillars of wellness:
mental, physical, social, spiritual, and financial health.
Officials say the center is equipped with mental health professionals, physical therapists, an on-site chaplain, and a brand new gym. The 3-story building also has a space for CPR and first aid classes. Just 6 days after Mayor Craig Greenberg announced plans for the summit, the DOJ said Louisville had inadequate support for mental health and wellness. Since then, the mayor says DOJ members met with leaders recently and commended the city on its progress.
And they were telling us how this is truly a national model, the first of its kind, a one of a kind, a model for other cities to emulate, to support officers and to provide the physical and mental support they need to do the job the way they want to do it and the way all of us in our community want them to do their job.
And ultimately to recruit the next generation of officers and create a safer city for all. The Wellness Center is open 24 hours for officers. Counseling and classes are set for certain times throughout the day. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
Now here's the breakdown on how it was funded. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg says more than $17 million in ARP money was used to fund the Wellness Center and the renovations for the new police headquarters on Chestnut Street. Meteorologist Colleen Peterson is joining us here as we are looking at a work week this week that's going to give us great fall temperatures. And Colleen, you sort of now have, we're in that time of year, we have that sneaking suspicion that we're just on the edge of losing these 70 degrees for quite a while.
You know, it only happens for 2 days at a time. We're in the 70s and then we get that cold front and then all of a sudden we're cold again. I did promise some sunshine yesterday. We are still not seeing it just yet. Overcast skies over downtown Louisville. Temperatures right now still in the 50s, but I'll tell you what, these are the areas that are already seeing some sunshine. Indianapolis, so areas off to the northwest, that air is rushing towards our area, pushing out those clouds. So soon we'll see some clear skies. Maybe by 8 o'clock tonight, starting to see some partly cloudy conditions. And then overnight, you're going to wake up to a surprise tomorrow. We are going to see some clear skies, blue, when you're heading to work tomorrow morning. And that means our temperatures will have that opportunity to cool off to the low to mid 40s. So if that's cold enough to turn on that heat, just know it's going to be a chilly start tomorrow. Once we head towards the afternoon, it's going to be doing the exact opposite. In fact, we'll start to get some of that southerly wind, which will knock our temperatures all the way up to the upper 60s and low 70s. That's perfect fall-like weather, right where we should be this time of year. So thankfully, those clouds will start to clear overnight tonight. Sunshine in that forecast tomorrow in the low 70s. And then we are tracking our next cool down. That'll be heading our way Thursday through Friday. Expect off and on scattered light rain in that forecast. However, there are certain time windows where we'll see more rain than others. I will time it out here coming up in just about 10 minutes.
Okay, Colleen, thank you. More local news at 5. Investigators are looking into a fatal fire tonight that killed one person in LaGrange over the weekend. LaGrange, South Oldham, and Ballardsville fire departments responded around 9:15 on Saturday night. This is video from the scene today. A neighbor called in the house fire in the Echo Valley subdivision. The one-story house was engulfed in flames when firefighters got there. The house was filled with heavy smoke. 2 people lived at this home, but only one person was home at the time. A 62-year-old woman was discovered inside. She died at the scene. A dog was also found dead inside. The fire took an hour to get under control, and the cause is being investigated by the Oldham County Fire Marshal. The weapons detection company that Jefferson County Public Schools hired to install the devices in the schools here is under investigation now by the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC is looking into the company called Evolv because of certain marketing practices. In Evolv's SEC filings, the company discloses that they're answering the FTC's questions about the marketing claims in question. It stems from a report by IPVM, which is a security technology research firm. The report alleges that Evolv misled the public on the technology's effectiveness, saying it doesn't detect weapons as well as it claims. Now, in that SEC filing, Evolv says, like many companies, when Evolv receives inquiries from regulators, our approach is to be cooperative and educate them about our company. The company stands behind its technology's capabilities and performance track record and is proud to partner with hundreds of security professionals to add a layer of advanced technology to the security plan. JCPS is expected to install the Evolv weapons detection system sometime in October. We do not have a clear timeline yet on the installation in our schools. More devastating news coming out of the Middle East this afternoon after an airstrike on a Gaza hospital killed at least 500 people. The deadly blast comes hours before President Joe Biden is scheduled to arrive in Israel in a show of support. ABC News is reporting the latest from Jerusalem.
3 days of mourning declared in Gaza after a devastating attack on Baptist Hospital. Hundreds killed, according to the health ministry. Thousands were sheltering there after being forced to flee from the north of Gaza. It comes as President Biden heads to Israel and the Kingdom of Jordan Wednesday to speak with the regional leaders about this growing humanitarian crisis.
And at our request, The United States and Israel have agreed to develop a plan that will enable humanitarian aid from donor nations and multilateral organizations to reach civilians in Gaza, and them alone.
Hundreds of trucks with supplies for Palestinians in Gaza are waiting on the Rafah crossing in Egypt to open, hoping to get inside Gaza to deliver vital resources for the millions in need. Aid workers say thousands could starve unless food is allowed in, water and fuel also running out. This man explaining he fears for his family and all of Gaza, with children dying. The Rafah border crossing still closed and no word on when it may open. Biden will also talk to Israeli authorities about their plan to defeat Hamas, the militant group responsible for last week's terrorist attack that left more than 1,400 Israelis dead.
First is making sure he gets an update from our Israeli counterparts about their plans, their intentions, how things are going on the ground, and make sure that he conveys a strong message of continued support. Number two, it's really on the humanitarian front.
Some 360,000 reservists have been called up in Israel, possibly signaling a ground invasion into Gaza could be next. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to demolish Hamas, who they say are holding nearly 200 people hostage. And crowds already taking to the streets across the region in protest of the strike on that hospital as President Biden touches down in Israel tomorrow. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Jerusalem.
And today on the floor of the U.S. Senate, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell talking about the president's trip to Israel tomorrow, saying President Joe Biden needs to clearly demonstrate the United States' support for Israel during these tough times.
This is a time for choosing, and the choice is crystal clear. We must stand with America's closest ally in the Middle East, with the people of Israel, with those held hostage by terrorists, and with their families.
Mitch McConnell going on to say that President Biden must also show Iran and Hezbollah that he means business to deter them from any further involvement in this conflict. ABC's World News Tonight and David Muir will have more on the deadly hospital strike, the developing news today. That hospital served as a shelter for thousands of people who fled their homes in northern Gaza. And more coverage of President Joe Biden's trip to Israel on ABC's World News Tonight at 6:30, right after WHAS 11 News at 6.